Hey YouTube, Alex here. I wanted to do a life update video for you. I'm back here in America and I have been moving forward with some different opportunities that I found, and um, I think things are trending in the right direction for me, but I wouldn't be lying if I didn't mention that it's been pretty stressful. If you can't tell, I've definitely been doing a lot of stress eating, definitely have some weight to lose. Um, it's just, it's tough here. I think a lot of people that are attracted to expat life, leaving the United States, it tends to be a combination of factors, but I found a very common thread among the guys I met over the years I lived in Southeast Asia were that we didn't really feel like we had a lot here in the US or in our respective home countries. Of course, there's guys or gals from Australia, Canada, the UK, other countries as well, like not limited to those, but those seem to be the four that are the most represented in the places that I've been: Thailand, Philippines, but even in Latin America. And it just it's not what it used to be. There's just little things I noticed. Like when I first got back, it was great. I had seen several people in years, so it was great to see those people, catch up with those people. If you're watching this, you know who you are. I had gotten a little worn out on, certain little things in Southeast Asia. Like overall, I mainly left to get back to work, but there's things that I think all of us, like, no matter where our home country is at, there's things that we miss about it. We might not miss everything about it, but like even people, I met people from many different countries, and I feel that very few of them are totally negative on their home country. Like they might have some critiques, some criticism, some things that they really didn't care for, but they miss like the weather, or they miss the culture, or they miss having everybody speaking the language, or they miss, who knows, it could be any number of things. But being back here, like there's just I don't know, people seem stressed out. I think the United States is not as prosperous as it once was. Sure, in GDP terms, I think it's, if you're just looking at that, but if you look at the actual wealth of the people, it just seems like people, they definitely have material wealth, and it is the most materially wealthy country in the world, but it seems like people are cutting back some, and it seems like the country's economy, even if they're not coming out and saying it, isn't as good as what it once was. I've finally managed to find my way into a career that I think is, should be getting into career soon, that's somewhat future-proof, but like a lot of jobs are getting automated. I don't think the tech industry is as lucrative as it once was. It seems like, everything's getting more expensive, but like the job market is also not very good. Notice, like, I'm here in the Denver metro area. I don't know if you're familiar with Colorado, but if you aren't, Denver's always had some homeless people, but it seems like worse than I've ever seen it. I see homeless people like out in the suburbs, where I used to not see homeless people or very many homeless people. I see, just like driving around the city, more people kind of hanging out, flying signs, what they call flying signs, or you hold up a sign with like some kind of message, basically, please give me money. And I also see, like, when I go to different stores, like Walmart, I've had to go to Walmart several times throughout the week, just to like pick up different things, mostly little things for my car. Like I had to replace my windshield wiper blades, replace my car battery. I got some tires recently. You see a lot more stuff locked up. Like I need to get batteries, or a battery for my key fob, and that was locked up. So I had to ask an employee to help me unlock the battery case. You see this in different aisles, like a lot of stuff is locked up, and I know like some people would say, oh, it's, uh, liberal Colorado or whatever, but I think this is an issue like around the country, that people are harder up. And I think like if the country is kind of going backwards economically in some ways, I've overheard people say they need to punish that or they need to punish this. It's like the jails only have, so much room, like the prisons only have so much room. There's only so much law enforcement attention. Like it's, when there's like a few homeless people, like, yeah, you can crack down. When there's like thousands and thousands of homeless people, it's a lot harder to crack down. Like you can't just take them out, they have to go somewhere. And if the shelters are full, there's only so many people that fit in the shelter. It's just, it ain't what it used to be. I think we should all appreciate like peak America. I grew up, or had my earliest years in the 90s, and that seemed like a time, I'm watching this channel, Analyzing Finance with Nick, shout out to Nick, where he argues that like the year 2000 was the most prosperous year in the United States. And I'd agree with that. I mean, it was like unheard of when I was a kid for anybody but like the most destitute of the destitute to be homeless. Certainly not people who are working a job. Now you have like a lot of working people living in vehicles because rent is so expensive. I have been like just shocked at the prices now that I'm kind of getting out and about and looking around more. Like when I first got back, it's like, whatever, I'd saved plenty and still have savings to last me through started my new career. But it's like, wow, I'm back in Denver. I'm going to some of the old places I used to frequent when I lived in Denver, and a lot of them have doubled the prices on everything. I mean, I used to go to this Goodwill outlet where you could buy donated goods by the pound. Like 7 years ago it was 99 cents a pound. Now it's $1.99 a pound. Qdoba, like over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. There's Qdoba right there. Let's see if, yeah, right there. You used to be able to get like a pretty big breakfast burrito for like, gosh, I remember it was like $6. It was really, now it's $9. So I know inflation, that topic's probably been beaten a lot by a lot of people, but it's really shocking to see. I don't know, I wish I'd been more appreciative of those economic boom times when I was younger. I guess I was too young to really understand economics or the economy. I wish I had had more, financial literacy. I probably would have made better decisions growing up. But it's, I think it's tough for a lot of the younger generations and the older generations alike now, because we're seeing like, I think health outcomes kind of declining in the US. And so I think a lot of people, they like to blame the boomers. Some of my boomer friends are probably watching this, but like they're also struggling from a lack of qualified personnel. I think a lot of healthcare professionals are like burnt out from the COVID era. And so that definitely affects people who are more in need of healthcare. Like the older generations, where their personnel are stretched thin and like really probably overworked in a lot of areas that don't, where healthcare may not be as heavily regulated. Like I know Bay Area, they have minimum patient to nurse ratios, but that's like a Bay Area thing, certainly not applicable to everywhere in the country. Yeah, I'm just, I'll be here for a few more days, I think, in Colorado, and then I'm gonna head to California. So I'm actually moving back to California. I managed to find some opportunity in California. I think it's going to be a good decision overall. I'll be able to enjoy that nice weather and lose this newfound gut. I'll be able to earn a decent wage. Like where I'm from in Tennessee, the cost of living has gone up a lot, but the wages still don't pay very much unless you're in healthcare. But even if you're in healthcare, you can make more money in other states. So for me, I felt very blessed to be able to stay with some good friends for several months while I planned out my next steps. But they understand as well as I do. They're very, very familiar with the economy there. Most people, like, if you want to be successful in my home state, you need to either be a business owner, you need to have like a healthcare education, or be retired, may have made your money in another state. So like a lot of the people in Tennessee that have money now, they made their money in California or New York or Chicago, some big city, and now they're coming to Tennessee to enjoy it. But that doesn't really help the young people in Tennessee who want to make a living. And so that's why I'm going back to California, even though it's very expensive in a lot of ways. Like it's kind of a wash, like as far as cost of living differences, and the wages are a lot higher, and especially for the field that I'm researched and figured out, I'll be able to do a lot better out there. And it's I think, you know, this could be my career until I hit a more standard retirement age. If I don't have any major health issues come up, I'm not counting on it, health issues running my family, but it's more of a future than focusing on trying to do YouTube full time. Like I enjoy YouTube a lot, and it can be a lot of fun to meet new people. I met some wonderful people through this channel, but it's not as really sustainable, if that makes any sense, as a career. And you know, I plan to keep making more videos. I know I've taken several months off. I apologize to you guys for that, but it's just YouTube's not a career. It can be a lot of fun, like I said, but I've just I needed to take a break from it. I was getting too much of my focus was being diverted from other opportunities that I need to pursue. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to share. I guess winter is coming, so it's going to be getting cold in a few months, and I'm not looking forward to it. I really enjoyed being in Southeast Asia in the winter months. Having those the tropical vibes was really, really wonderful, to not have to experience cold weather, and that's something I'm going to have to be prepared for. And I know California winter is not the same as like Colorado winter where I am here, or even Tennessee weather where I'm from, but it's still going to be chilly. It's not going to be like a tropical vacation like being in the Philippines or being in Thailand. So that's something I'm going to have to be prepared for. It's you know, making sure I have the proper attire for that. I guess the new dream is to just like make enough money in your career to eventually move overseas. I think it'll become more and more common in the coming years, and more people are figuring out what their plan should look like. I think that in an early time frame, I could maybe pull it off in like 10 years, but I don't know. As I get older, like in some ways the US can be nice, because if you need something like healthcare, the quality is very good here. If you want to be in a place that you're somewhat familiar with things, of course the US changes so much too, so that might be contradictory. I guess I don't know, I've moved around so much, so I think that's part of my challenge, is like having moved around so much, I don't know that anywhere really feels like home anymore. The US has changed so much, it doesn't quite feel like home. Southeast Asia, I didn't grow up there, right? So no matter how much I want to be accepted or welcomed, which I am, I'll never be Thai, I'll never be Filipino. So there's just been a lot on my mind lately, guys. I appreciate your patience with me as far as like having not uploaded in several months. Some of that is my memory cards are full. Some of that is I've been trying to focus on getting my job going. Because in the United States, like, you've got to work. Everybody's got to work. Unless you're like very, very fortunate, you made really good decisions, worked really hard, and made the right, like, did everything right to maybe sell a tech company or something like that, you got to work to be here. The costs are just too high, and also the expectations placed on people here. People expect for you to have a late model car. People expect for you to have a nice home, and so yeah, it's I don't know. I think maybe some of that will change with the younger generations. But I think we'll be in a kind of a split society in the future where you've got there's not really a middle class anymore, and so that kind of factors into the equation as well. Is like, what does it look like for the people who aren't rich and may never become rich? I guess the dream is like, hey, I'm gonna get to a certain point where maybe I make a couple grand a month in investment income, which I know may sound like a lot, but it's reasonably attainable, I think, by most people. And then when I hit that point, then I go overseas where I can actually live a decent standard of living again. I'm not trying to live in a vehicle or have 12 roommates or work, 40 hours of overtime every week on top of my standard 40. It's yeah, I miss, being in Southeast Asia for sure, guys. Like, I do. It's not just like being able to chill out, but it's like the social climate. I had a lot of friends in Dumaguete, and I have friends throughout Thailand as well. And just having the time to kind of slow your mind down and like de-stress. I think part of me is permanently a little bit lower in terms of stress than if I hadn't spent so much time in Southeast Asia. But I can just see like the way some people act in public. Some people are really wound up tight here in the United States. They're very confrontational. I don't know if it's that their life isn't working out. I don't know if it's entitlement. I don't know if it's just general, like, frustration with the society kind of like declining a bit. I realize like part of that too is that I actually like the United States, but having like family issues, that could happen in any country, but that was part of my frustration with wanting to go overseas. It's like, no matter what I do, that's not going to be resolved. And so I think a lot of people, that factors into the frustration of a lot of expats with the United States, is they don't have that family to lean on. So when times get tough, they have to be totally self-reliant. And when you develop that strong sense of self-reliance, you're like, well, I can go anywhere in the world. If I can trust myself and depend on myself to take care of myself, that same trait or characteristic or quality, that's a good thing anywhere. Like, I can't think of any country where being self-reliant is not going to be helpful for you as a person. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're glad to see me back, if you want to see me keep making videos. I don't know exactly how I could pivot the content of the channel. I know that once my new career starts going, I can start putting away money every month. I can start building out that dividend portfolio. That's going to be a goal of mine, is to build out that dividend portfolio where I get passive income. I can build that passive income up and eventually return to Southeast Asia in a more sustainable way. But also with, like, I don't know, later years that I may just want to slow down from work. Like, I think it's good to work really hard when you're young and then build up a lot of investments and savings. And then when you get older, you can kind of chill out a bit. But anyway, guys, this video could be an hour. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment down below your thoughts and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.